People are trying to, it's sobering. I believe God has a plan. I don't understand it. But when you see people, organizing every possible way they can, several parties and several families, and their hands reach far, even into agencies. And I've even had people say, well, if something happens to you, your daughter will go to your next of kin, your brother, your brother, which, well, I mean, he didn't say your brother, but he said, will go to your family. But because events that have happened to my daughter and I do not want her to go to my brother because they have continually ignored things that have happened, or even times when I press them for help or, for assistance in explaining different situations, they'll gaslight me. And I'm not entirely blaming them for this because they would have an instant family with my daughter, but my other two daughters, one of them is still, we don't know where she is. Her mother is passing her from friend to friend and from her boyfriend's family member to family member. My oldest daughter, she thinks she's been abandoned because people keep hacking and interfering in our communication, and people keep sabotaging my job prospects, my businesses, and we're kept in financial poverty. We're kept in financial prison and poverty. And people try their best to mess with my health by delaying consults, delaying procedures, or losing records, or playing voicemail tag just to delay things so they go on farther and farther and farther and worse and worse and worse. But I know that Triple Canopy Constellas, the company, would benefit because according to DBA, Defense Base Acts, if a contractor dies and it could be related to their contracting period, their service, the company will be reimbursed for that contractor's medical costs, any settlement monies, any medevac fees, all of it. The military will pay them back. And we can't forget that my security company still, even though we stepped back from it because I can't verify the background of my partner. I knew him maybe 3 or 4 months. I saw a credit card, but it wasn't until it came time to really, nitty gritty. We need this and that and this and that. Social security cards, he refused to give them. Then I said, well, we need your ID at a minimum. And he refused to give it. Then I started to question, maybe somebody gave him their credit card. Then I thought back of, whenever we did things, either he used a credit card or he paid cash. So I'm like, I give him an ultimatum. Either I see some kind of government ID or I'm backing off. And he refused to provide it, so I backed off. A lot of great ideas. I mean, it would have been, great, except the fact that he's not being fully honest. And for me to deal with that kind of person, I back off. But, he could have taken out an insurance policy. Doesn't require a signature for a business partner to take out an insurance policy. You're not required to get a signature of your business partner. They don't even have to know about it. Family member, same way. I'm not saying there's a policy out there, but there could be. That could be, somebody has a financial interest in me passing or being incapacitated. Can't forget the fact of my family that belonged to an apostolic group where nearly all the bishops either involved in medicine Specifically, one bishop's wife works at U of M, either in the hospital or she's on the faculty in the nursing program. I forget which one, or maybe both. And then a lot of them are involved in nursing homes, especially nursing homes for disabled veterans. And one of them has become a millionaire off of this. And then you have a lot of other ones that are involved in corrections. Then others are involved in social work. So you see where I'm going with this. The perfect mechanism to recruit, control, and manipulate people. Perfect mechanisms. And they even have a nonprofit that's connected to some of their church groups where some of the people are clinical social workers or counselors within their church group, so that helps them pay off their loans. Which, I mean, is good to help the community, but yet when your clientele is so restrictive and is so focused, are you really helping anybody? And we're dealing with at-risk communities, I think that caring for and rehabbing at-risk communities, that should be left to people that are experts. Not people that say, oh, I did this, or oh, my mother was this. No, it should be left to the experts, especially people that are free of any kind of partiality, or people who are free from religious instigation of others, radicalizing them. But it's pretty obvious that, there's some parties out there that seek my ruin of my health, maybe even to kill me, because some of these issues, if they go in a bad situation, it could be fatal. It makes somebody, look at your soul, but then again, I've never been a perfect person, but I've always looked at my soul. I don't give excuses for my youth or teenage years, but I turned myself around, and it took a long time to learn about life and about right and wrong and about faith and about praxis, because I've always been on my own. But the church has always been my family, the church and the military. But that being said, when people seek your ruin, and somebody is recruiting people to move around us everywhere we live, and these people always cause harm to us in one way or another, always. Somebody is recruiting these people. And when I speak up about it, like I was threatened one time, if you complain too much or you make your reports, maybe people will point a finger at you and say you're mentally ill. That was a threat. And I've gotten threats like that more than once. And anybody that knows me knows I don't back down. I'm not intimidated. But the fact of the matter is, these are criminal acts. And they're affecting my daughters, their future. People may recruit some stranger to adopt my daughter, but generally, when people recruit strangers to adopt a child and the parents and the child aren't involved in it, usually it ends up in trafficking. 90% of the time, it ends up in trafficking. That's something to think about. So again, a lot of the parties that are involved in this, these are criminal acts. A lot of the parties involved in this, they're pushing things in the direction of human trafficking. So again, I hold accountable all these parties. People messing with our health care, people trying to keep us in poverty, people trying to mess with my employment prospects, people trying to ruin my name to potential employers, people trying to alienate us from our religious community, people organizing against us with social services, people organizing against us at Michigan Works, people organizing against us within the hospitals here, and people organizing against us and causing harm to us directly who were employed at the VA. All of these people are responsible, and they can run and hide and wear their fake badges or refuse to show ID or even refuse to wear their ID badge on federal property. And yes, sadly, some of the VA police are scared to act. Seems that only a couple act against me, otherwise, they don't act at all. But I've already told them they're abandoning their oath, and I hope I was recorded that day. Anyone who wears a uniform who doesn't stand for the laws of this country and stand for our laws, our tradition of human rights, they've already abandoned their oath.